Hello, you're the first one in, so welcome. I'll just let a couple of other people get into the stream. Hopefully they should appear any time now. Yep, there we go, looks like people are joining. I was going to say that because I've had flu and everything, I don't know if I'm going to manage a full hour on the stream tonight. I'm going to see. My throat isn't too sore at least anymore, but today I've been sort of feeling quite tired and sluggish, sort of headaches, you know, chills, things like that. So, you know, we'll see how I go. Evening, Richard. Yeah, so I'll see how I get along on this, you know, one. As you can probably see, I've cut all my hair off again as well. Well, not really, to be honest, unfortunately. From Monday to Wednesday this week, I felt really sluggish and sort of tired all day, sort of during the days. Today, I didn't feel too bad this morning. I was volunteering today. Did that alright, you know. Had a bit of a headache in that when I was doing that, but otherwise felt alright. Got home and then I felt really sort of tired all of a sudden and, you know, a bit achy. So I slept from about 4 o'clock to half 5. Something like that, you know, which is very unusual for me. I normally sleep during the night and that's it. So I actually had a nap in the daytime today. And I'm feeling a bit more awake and alert now, but we'll see how I get on. So yeah, alright Mike. I'm very sorry to hear that, Gabos, if you're being serious. But sometimes people on these streams say stuff like that to sort of troll. So, if you're being serious, obviously, I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, cheers. I'm sure I will be better within a few days and everything. I just think it's one of those annoying things that tends to linger around a bit. You know, you just want it to hurry up and go away so you can be back to normal. But I've got a rehearsal on this Sunday, so I have Sunday booked off of work. So it means at least I'm only going to be working Saturday, which should be bearable even if I'm feeling a bit ill. Looks I've got, like, my eyes look a bit tired actually looking on this camera. Looks like I've got the sort of shadows on them. That's good, Richard. Hopefully you get a decent commission for getting that done. Did you get one of those emails today, Mike? Because I got one from YouTube saying they're no longer going to be sharing, like, videos on Twitter or something. And Google Plus, you have to manually share every video now. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, if that's, yeah, genuine. I take it you mean a GM30, Tris? No, I don't. I have the Volksmask 37, that's my earliest one. I don't think I did Yum Yum. I think there was a link that YouTube removed that I could see it in the spam thing, but it wouldn't work when I clicked on it, so I just deleted the comment. You've not been blocked or anything, obviously, because you're on here commenting, but I think, yeah, there was a link that YouTube had sort of removed when I was moderating the comments earlier. I think a CF4 is a check filter, yeah. No, I'm not doing a mask today, just because, as I was saying to people earlier, as I've got flu or whatever I've got and feel a bit tired and achy, I don't know if I'm going to manage a full hour and don't really want to be having to talk louder with a mask on or whatever else, so I'm just going to do it like this for now. You know, and see how I manage and go along. I was saying, yeah, it was very unusual for me to have a nap during the day today. I never normally sleep at all during the day, but today I had to have a 90-minute sleep, just flicking the lights off and laying down on the bed. At the moment, I haven't done hiking in ages. I used to use my Austrian, they were either German or Austrian army boots. At the moment, I just have, like, kind of, you know, those halfway between walking boots and shoes kind of trainer things for, like, when I do regular walking. And I've got some boots as well, but they're more for work, so I don't really have hiking boots as such, but I haven't actually done, you know, much long distance hiking for ages. For me, it was the XM28. That's the one I paid the most for, and for me it's worth it, but for a lot of people it wouldn't be. It just totally depends on how much you value them, really. That video's over 1 year old, because obviously I've known that they've had asbestos in forever. Yeah, as I said, I've been totally fine because I've had lungs checked before. No asbestos in them whatsoever. GM30s would probably go for quite a lot, I'm not sure the exact amount. If they're in the metal tin. Weirdly enough, there is going to be a sort of EDC video, because as requested by other people on Monday's stream, I did an EDC video on knives. So, there's that one. When that comes out, well, that'll be like a month's time, because of how far in advance most of the videos are. No, NATO NVC filters are the wrong thread to fit on the GP5. GP5's a GOST, not NATO. That's right. Well, like I've said about all these things before, if I can get one of the masks for a decent price, then I'll get one. If not, then no. Using the Patreon money recently, I did order a, what's it called? PPM88 GP9, because loads of people kept asking for that. Then somebody on the Discord server found a UK seller with one in that was a bit cheaper than ordering one from Russia, so I've actually done that now. I bought a couple of things from China. I've bought, I think, the gas mask hose from China, the Chinese one, and the TF1 mask from China, and the, what's that other one? Like, the M64 mask, whatever it's called, as well as, like, a couple of gloves and things, but I try not to, generally, just because customs can be annoying and steal parcels. I haven't seen ET in ages, so I couldn't tell you, but I assume they're some sort of hazmat suit, are they? If it's a sealed filter, it's always fine to be laying about, because nothing can get out if it's sealed. Yeah, I have a German World War II helmet. I've done videos on it before. Probably Greece is the furthest I've been from the UK, I'd say. At least I think that's the furthest I've been from the UK. If they're the, let's go back to what Metro was saying. Oh wait, I missed the thing. It says, if you have seen the Metro Exodus trailer, can you tell the look of the gas mask? Well, I haven't seen necessarily the one for Metro Exodus, but I know in a lot of the Metro things he has a PPM88 or a GP7. Yeah, I sold Richard. Yeah, I don't know, you could try Googling the URL for the video and see if it's been embedded on any forums, I guess, or anything. Yeah, this one might not be an hour though, as I said earlier, because I've got flu or whatever, although my throat's almost back to normal now, it doesn't hurt too much to talk. I am just feeling a bit lethargic and tired, so, you know, I probably might not do an hour. I've got coffee literally right here, but the caffeine's not even doing much for me today. It's impossible to really say if World War III would happen. I assume you mean a massive scale war to be classed as World War III. No, the GSR and M50 have a completely different kind of connector for the filters. They're both proprietary. Favourite tea is Yorkshire tea. The SLR is the one behind me. I'm not from America, obviously. Yeah, I've played chess obviously quite a bit before. I've not played it at all recently, but I used to be okay at it. I wouldn't say good, but I'd say I was okay at it. I don't think that would be my thing, doing ASMR, to be honest. I could definitely see that appealing to some people, but that wouldn't be something I'd want to do. No, in the UK you can't do much hunting full stop anyway, but I don't do it regardless. But you can only really use air rifle hunting or maybe trap hunting, but you can't do bow hunting or anything in the UK. How do you mean, Alex? Do you mean like one to keep, or one if I had to use it for something? I'll let you get back on that one before I answer it then. I didn't see a previous question from you. I think YouTube's removed it unless it's not showing up. Let me just change from top chat to live chat. No, your question's not there, you'll have to repeat it. No, I don't drink Coca-Cola or barely any fizzy drinks. I might actually try that then next time in an Aldi, but the thing is with tea bags, it's not like Yorkshire tea or anything's even that expensive. Because with most of the stuff at Aldi you get a decent saving, but I don't think tea bags end up, because you get like 300 in a box or whatever. I don't actually go through them all that quickly. Okay, so survival situation, I can only use one item. I mean, it's going to depend on what the scenario is, basically, doesn't it? But I might just say the bill hook that Richard Weaponsmith made, because that's at least versatile to do several different things. Yeah, like I said, I barely drink fizzy drinks. I just find fizzy drinks upset my stomach, and I don't really enjoy the taste of them. No, I can't test children's gas masks because they don't fit me. Yeah, I've played RuneScape, weirdly enough. I still play that now and again. I think it's probably like 2005 I started playing that. But that had its 18th birthday, didn't it, recently? Because it's still actually going with people playing it. Now, body armour's not restricted in the UK, so I'd say the laws on body armour in the UK are absolutely fine. It completely depends on the individual gun, if it's deactivated or air rifles or whatever. The two air rifles I've got, the Crossman Nitro Venom was £240, the BSA Hornet was £100, with most of the deactivated guns are like £400 or less. Yeah, I've got videos on my body armour. I've got an old flak jacket, and I've got a modern level 2 Kevlar vest with stab protection on it as well. I mean, I could maybe do a World War II collection video as in all my World War II stuff put together, like helmets, masks, things like that. That's actually a tough one, because there's pros and cons with each country. I think I'd want to move to America though, just simply because of things like house prices and things like that. I assume when you say it costs, you mean like costs of moving to America. But in somewhere like the US, as much as you're going to have to be paying for healthcare, or at least it's on insurance or whatever, you know, the house prices are much cheaper, especially in some states, because of just how much land there is, where the UK is just sort of, you know, urban sort of sprawl. And how would I get tear gas as a civilian then, Calvin? Can I cheat, Callum, and have one of those knives with a ferro stick on it? Like the ones Mike's done, like that, what was the one he had? The good, like, it's kind of like a Gerber one, that was quite good, where it had the ferro rod that went into the back of, like, the handle. Wow, if it's a wire out, very much, because, you know, wire outs are good air guns. Probably about 90 yum yum. The Confederate flag hasn't been in any recent videos because it used to be up just there, but it fell down, and that's a really awkward place to put it back up, so I've simply not put it back up because I need to try and move the table out the way and get a chair in there. I think that was probably 2016 or so, last video where that was in. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, Mike, yeah. Yeah, that's just fine. I'm just saying, yeah, I was saying it shouldn't have been any of the recent ones, just because it's fallen down and I've not had a chance to put it back up. Yeah, for the people saying, do I have this, do I have that, just search for my channel. The answer to a lot of these is yes. Yeah, like Richard was saying, if you want to get a stab vest, what you want to actually do is probably look on eBay for second-hand ones. Simply because second-hand ones are a big saving. If you had something keeping them above the water, the hoses, potentially, but if you went too far down, your mask would still fail anyway. I have no idea, Callum, actually, how you'd do that. Maybe Mike would know. No, you cannot get tear gas grenades in the UK as a civilian. I've got an interesting bite on my finger. Some of you might know what animal that's from, if you can see it well enough on the camera, if it focuses. Don't know if that camera's actually going to focus on it. I had to have a plaster on that for most of today to stop it bleeding. If I turn it like that, you can see where the main bit of the tooth went in. I've seen videos in the US where people test CS against gas masks, but I don't know how official it is as CS, because I imagine somebody could have, you know, easily just got some sort of smoke grenade and let that off and then said it was CS for a video. That wasn't a brown recluse. Anybody else got any guesses? There's two bite marks, but one's from the lower jaw actually going in. That's the bigger bite mark. The smaller bite mark's obviously where the top tooth just kind of got it. No, it's not a rabbit bite, Mike. You're kind of right on that type of thing. The person who said mouse is closest, but it's not a mouse. No, it'd be a bigger tooth mark if it was a human bite. Yeah, it was a rat bite. Yeah, rat. Whoever said rat got it right. I've had a tetanus shot before, but I've just been told to keep an eye on it. Now, if it's a cat, cat bites are really nasty because you can actually get cat scratch fever from cat bites and scratches. Yeah, because I volunteer at an animal shelter. So I don't particularly mind dealing with like lots of small animals that potentially bite, but I did get a rat bite, and because it was in an awkward place where it's like there, it's one that, you know, keep bleeding for ages. because it's one where, you know, you bend your finger until it's fully healed over and then it just starts bleeding again. I'd probably rather have a size 1 GP5 on, to be honest. No, why would I knock it out? Don't think there's many animals in the UK that can give you rabies, especially not domesticated animals, or at least partially domesticated. Obviously, wasn't a feral rat. I wouldn't be cleaning it out, would I? Yeah, you can put super glue on cuts as well, but like they obviously have first aid stuff there, so they were able to disinfect it and dress it properly for me there. It was just one of those awkward ones of having to apply pressure for ages before we could put a plaster on. I've heard of amoeba camouflage. I don't know if that other one is like a type of amoeba. Now, when I search that, nothing's coming up. Well, the point isn't that the super glue's to heal you over. The point is that it stops the bleeding if you've got a really nasty cut. I like quite a lot of the lizard camos, to be honest. I've got that strange camo over there. Well, you won't be able to see it on the video. I've done things before on that's kind of like a lizard sort of brushstroke kind of camo, which is quite nice. It's probably some sort of deer, I'd say, Brendan. I'm not sure what variety of deer we'd have, which is the largest, but in Scotland they have some pretty big deer. Okay, I thought the Tron was a variant of Tomcat 2 though, Mike. Deer are much bigger than badgers. Yeah, I did the AS levels. I hated them, so I stayed to do the exams. But as soon as I was 18, I left school. But I did history, philosophy, and drama, I think. Yeah, that was the 3 AS levels I did. Yeah, well, the thing was, like I said, by that point I was really fed up with school anyway, so I just wanted to finish it. I imagine SAT is more similar to GCSE, but I don't actually know, because in the UK, how it used to work when I was at school is when you were about 16, you took your GCSEs, which were like your end of school qualifications, which are like the most important ones you do, really. Then, once you've done GCSEs, you have the option of going on to further education, and those further education then, you know, are different kind of things. Because then if you went on to university as well, you'd have a different kind of grading system for university, because I know they have, like, firsts in university, don't they, have things like that, like with degrees. But, yeah, GCSEs is, like, the compulsory education one, but they changed it after I left school, that you had to be 18 before you left education. So it meant that you could do college or sixth form or whatever, but you couldn't leave education until you were 18. I quite like GCSE history, to be honest. But I think a lot of the time with school it depends on how good your teachers are, because I think the teachers that make like lessons enjoyable are the ones that you actually learn the most from. At least that's the case of me. The teachers that were just ones that would almost like read aloud from a book, you know, I never did very well in because I just couldn't get engaged in anything. Yeah, the thing kind of problem I have with school, that I said, is they don't teach you anything about taxes or like life skills. A lot of the things you learn in school are going to be of no use to you whatsoever. Whereas the amount of people I know that don't know how to budget anything, you know, that can blow a wage packet in like 2 days of receiving it, you know, and stuff like that is kind of amazing. So I think schools should really teach you a lot of actually daily living kind of stuff, you know, rather than things that I think are a lot more theoretical, really. No, I don't think I've ever watched any anime at all, actually, funnily enough. Yeah, I think the thing is as well, Mike, isn't it, is sometimes you'll learn more, like, when you finish school in the first year of working a real job than you'd actually learn in school. Because one of the things I really noticed is, by the point I was about 21, you know, and 21, 22, and I'd been working for sort of 4 years since then, because I, you know, started full-time work when I was 18, the amount of people who'd come out of uni were then working and just had no kind of idea what they were doing in the workplace kind of amazed me. That, you know, they'd just been like pissing about for 3 years, I guess drinking and everything, and not actually working. Yeah, you can get a job in the UK a lot younger than 18, it's just at that age you're not paid a proper wage. Not really into cars. I mean, I find them sort of interesting, you know, if I was having to buy a new one. And I find some military vehicles interesting, but I'm not into cars to a massive degree, because, you know, a lot of them I find they're very generic. You know, they all get a roughly similar fuel economy for hatchbacks or whatever, all within a few seconds of each other on a 0 to 60, you know. No, I've said before, I'm not into MREs at all, really. Especially not spending loads of money on old military ones. I quite enjoy Lindy Bage's videos. I think the problem is you shouldn't take him too seriously. I think the people who get really upset at his channel are the ones that think everything he says is historically true. I drive a Dacia Sandero at the moment, which is the cheapest car you can actually buy in Britain new, and it works very well. It's cheap on fuel economy. You know, it's in the long run, it actually saves you a lot of money getting a cheap car like that just works. Maybe Timothy Dalton Jumanji from like the 80s when he was in Bond and Flash Gordon and everything like that. Favourite gas mask? That's the Avon CT12. It says right there in the description. Oh, I've got a message by the sound of it on my phone, or is it an email? I'll be quick at this because I know it's a bit antisocial to reply to people while you're streaming, but I just want to do it. Oh, it says there's a new Paul Harrell video, so that's good. Yeah, well, it could survive Chernobyl, the Dacia Sandero. I'll have to look into SHOT Show, just give me a minute. Probably 9mm on my favourite handgun thing, you know, 9x19, just because it's Well, it says SHOT Show is American, so I'm going to struggle to get there, aren't I, if it's in the US, not the UK. Well, I don't think it would be a very good existence, but if you've seen Fred's, that would probably give you a good idea of it. Well, I've got a Motorola because it's cheaper than either an iPhone or Samsung, and it works, but it's Android. No, I'm certainly not going to be able to sort out a holiday to America in 12 days' time. No, I've never tried putting raw pasta in my mouth. I guess you can if you want to, Jaden. Least favourite gas mask? Probably the Scott GSR, I'd imagine. Well, I suppose that at least kind of works, so maybe one of the ones I've got that doesn't even work at all. There's nobody behind me, unless you can see a ghost on my screen, but there's nobody there. Oh, good, that's good, if you could actually just put a replacement in easily and it worked. No, I've never done that. I've never randomly beaten up random people, no. But yeah, I knew a guy who apparently did a history degree and he thought the Tiger tank was Russian, so that's not really a valuable history degree, is it? Well, the problem with replica guns, as I've said before, is in the UK you're very limited on what replicas you can get, because if they're post 1870 you need like one of those excuse kind of licenses to get one, which I don't have. I think a shotgun permit's £50. I don't know what it is for a Section 1 firearm license, which is for like rifles. Well, my favourite helmet that I've got at the moment would be my Kevlar 3A like Pascut style one, which I think is called the Commando. FOW obviously, because there's a FOW behind me. But in terms of like all the helmets that exist, the one I find the most interesting, I mean there's really cool Soviet titanium helmets, but the ones I find really interesting are those modern American thermoplastic helmets, which supposedly give better protection than the 3A Kevlar ones, but they're lighter, you know, and more durable, and they're apparently cheaper to make now. So as those become more common and maybe a few other nations adopt them, it'd be interesting to see on the surplus market if you can get them for a sensible price. No, I don't have any wooden bows. Other than, no, I don't, because even one of my crossbows that has a bit of wood on it has a metal prod. For the person saying, could I answer a direct message, I haven't got any direct messages, because you can't direct message people on YouTube anymore unless you've gone through a load of steps to do it. Yeah, if the UK legalised something like pepper spray or whatever, I'd definitely carry it, because if it's legal to carry it, I don't see why you wouldn't want to carry it on you. Yeah, there's obsolete calibers you can buy, but I've never spotted anything that's within my price range I thought I'd actually enjoy having a lot. Oh yeah, because that's logistics for you, isn't it? If the enemy can outproduce you, you're in a bit of trouble. There's no way to send me fan mail, and that's the way I like it. Probably the M15 gas mask, because it doesn't have traffic jams on it. Probably my XM28, either that or one of my two British C7 masks. I prefer the C50 to the M50, not that I have a C50, but I just rather have one in 40mm NATO, because that's, you know, what everybody uses. Yeah, and the other problem with those is, Jesus, that like I've said before, there's loads of fakes around, which are just either stainless steel or like cheap plastic ones or whatever, where you have to make sure you know that the seller you're buying it from is selling genuine ones, because there's like a replica market for them, and then a lot of the replicas get sold as authentic ones. Favourite handgun's probably the SIG P226, but bear in mind I can't shoot any of them because I'm in the UK. No, I've never elastic band slapped myself with a GP5, but I can imagine it happening. Per month, not that much per month, because some months I have a couple of months where I buy quite a bit of stuff and probably spend a couple of hundred, and other months where I buy almost nothing. It depends what turns up really for sale. Like I haven't bought deactivated guns in ages, because the laws have changed and I can't find anything I want to buy anymore. I've played the older Hitman games up into Blood Money. I played Absolution, I absolutely hated that. Yep, it's an old L1A1, which is like the British variant of FAL, so it has a couple of design improvements over the standard FALs. Well, it'll work with a 40mm filter if that's what you're asking, but the problem with the C3 is it's sort of an old design in terms of how the straps work. I don't have an Xbox One or a PS4. I've got, if we go through games consoles, I've got a load of PlayStation 1s, PlayStation 2, the original fat Xbox, the crystal one, an Xbox 360, a Dreamcast, and a PS3. Do I have anything else? I have a Game Boy Color somewhere. But, I don't have any modern generation consoles. And I'm waiting for AMD's probably Ryzen 3 CPUs to come out sort of in a few months' time, and that's when I'll probably then upgrade my PC, so I can get something sort of massive step up from the CPU I've currently got. Well, if I could get a fully functioning deactivated weapon and it was cheap, then yes, of course. Not brilliant with the bow because I don't practice with it very much. There's videos of me shooting it, but I'm better with crossbows than I am with regular bows. Yeah, well, when they did the trials back a while ago, they had won the SIG series, didn't they, against the Berettas, and the SIGs won the trials, but they went with the Berettas anyway because the Berettas were cheaper. I think the FALs are definitely my favourite of all the battle rifles, because it was the right arm of the free world. About 90 countries used the FAL, and it was, you know, renowned for being reliable enough, accurate enough, whatever else. My next stream would probably be on Monday, I imagine, because I generally do them on Thursday and Monday. Yeah, I've got some fish. I've actually only got one fish. It's a clown loach. It's just the last surviving one in the tank. And it's been the last surviving one in the tank for like years now. I've got a load of... are they water fleas? I'm not sure. I got a triop kit recently and I tried growing triops. I didn't actually get any triops hatch, it seems. Mostly just water fleas. They're sort of still interesting. I've got one rabbit that's still alive, and a budgie. Oh, I don't use the PS3, so there's no point me giving you my PSN. Yeah, well, originally the FAL was going to be in that caliber, but then America demanded that the FAL be made in 7.62, so they'd adopt it, and then when FN made the FAL in 7.62, they then didn't adopt it anyway, and they went with the M14. Yeah, I've got the Peacemaker in the drawer down here, so let me just get that out. There you go. That's the Peacemaker with the nickel coating on it. There you go. Now at the two, there's a better action on this Confederate one. Yeah, because the M14 was basically a failure, wasn't it? Because it was like corruption, the reason they went for the M14 in the end, and then it wasn't fit for service. I mean, I'm not really following all that stuff in the US, to be honest. I don't quite understand how you can shut down the government, but I think it's because he wants to get his policies through, doesn't he, and they're trying to block him putting his policies through. So, I mean, I don't really understand all that or care too much, to be honest. He was voted in, so he should be able to pass the policies he was voted in on, in my opinion. That's cool, Callum. Now, the thing is, an M1 Garand with a magazine would actually have been far better than the M14 that they ended up getting in the end. No, I don't sell any of my masks. I'm trying to think if I've ever given any to people as gifts, but I'm not sure if I ever have. No, the 2 revolvers I have are the 2 I just showed. Already answered that one, Long John. So I'm not going to repeat what I said sort of 10 minutes ago in the stream. Right, I'll go for another 5 to 10 minutes, but I won't quite do the full hour, because I'm going to need to get some more coffee once I've done this. I don't know, actually, with flags, what ones I'd want to get. What would I want to get that actually has some sort of meaning to it and isn't, you know, like a pointless flag to get? I don't really know, actually. I wouldn't mind getting one of the retro looking sort of 1776 style US flags. And maybe a Don't Tread on Me one. My CT12's in the cupboard. I've not ordered anything in the current Blades and Bows sale, no, because I haven't spotted anything on there I actually could make use of yet. I might do though before they close. I'll have to see what's on there. I've got Metal Gear Solid 5 ready to play and haven't started it yet because I bought that on the Steam sale. I've already been to Norway, so don't need to travel there again in a hurry because I've already been. I think there's a variant of the M14 still in service, isn't there? Like the accuratized one. It's like a designated marksman rifle. But the standard old M14 isn't. What would the Viking sword be? I don't have a Viking sword. I generally do quite a few weapon related and sword related videos and things like that. There you go, virtual high five. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that, Mike, if I'm still awake. I hope I will be. Something like that will actually keep me quite interested, but it was just earlier, like I was saying, it was really odd. I actually had to have a nap during the day like an old person. Never normally have to do that. Only other times I've ever had to have a nap during the day is when I've sometimes been in hospital, and then they've like discharged me, but I've still got like morphine or whatever in me and I just want to snooze. That's not a Viking sword, that's an arming sword. Well, what I did is we went to Finland, we went to Helsinki, then up north to where like Lapland area is. It's like Rovaniemi or something it's called, isn't it? I can never pronounce the name. Then north into Norway over the border in northern Finland to sort of Nordkapp, and then all down the coast to eventually get to Oslo. My AK, or my RPK, has a 30 round mag on it, so I guess a 30 round mag on the RPK. Yeah, that's a handway sword. It's called an early medieval sword technically, but it's an arming sword if you go by the broad definitions of swords. I wouldn't mind flying one, actually, to be honest. But I don't know where I'd actually mount the flagpole where it'd be visible and not sort of fall over. Yeah, I actually had to buy some more sedatives yesterday, Mike, because where I've had like this flu stuff, and I've run out of like all the decent sedatives I've got. I just can't get to sleep, so I, you know, don't get to sleep till 3 AM or something. Get really frustrated, and then I don't wake up till like 12. So I've had to buy some more actual decent sedatives, so when I want to go to bed I can actually take them, fall off to sleep, you know, and then get a good night's sleep. Let me check what my next gas mask video is, because I can look on my video manager. Well, tomorrow, Friday at 5 PM, there's the Avon M50 test in the bathroom. So tomorrow is your answer to that. Then there's some more gas mask videos the next week. Most of them, I'd think, because they were Soviet satellite states, or allied with the Soviet Union. Because SHM style masks were cheap to make. It depends which coast you're on of the US. The UK is easy because it's GMT 0, so if you're in a US state that's like GMT +6, and it's obviously, or like GMT -6, whatever it is, it's, it'd be +6, wouldn't it? You're like, yeah, 6 hours behind the UK. Well, you can try Yum Yum, but YouTube might just not let you, because if it's a link and you're trying to post it, it normally just blocks them. I've got some throwing knives, which I've never ever done a video on, I don't think, because I was awful at using them. But I might have to have a go at using them at some point. I think in the UK, spear guns depend on if they are a pneumatic one or if they're like a rubber band one. If they're a rubber band, as far as I can tell, they're perfectly legal. If they're pneumatic like an air gun, then I think you need some sort of license for it, as far as I'm aware. GP5 would be fine if you could get filters to fit it. I've not got a Leatherman, but I've got a Ganzo multi-tool, which is like a Chinese one. That's perfectly fine for what I want from a multi-tool. I have to read that in Ian McDermott's voice. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Well, he probably doesn't talk like that, does he, in that bit of the film? Favourite tank? I like the T72 series a lot. No, I don't have a Warhammer. I might have to get one at one point. But I have a feeling there was a design I really liked, and then when I wanted to get that design, nowhere had it in stock. And then the ones that were in stock on places I didn't like the look of as much. I like the ones with a, you know, like the Horseman's Pick style ones, where they've got the head and then they've got the, you know, like the really long spike. I've already got a gun safe, but as I said, I'm not going to get an SGC because I've got no use for a shotgun. Buck knives, as in like a brand called Buck knives, or any just sort of general like hunting sort of skinning knives? Yeah, but don't go into that because it's probably illegal to talk about that. I'll remove your comment. I'm not going to block you for it, but just don't bring it up again. I know exactly who you're talking about. But so they're doing that again, are they, Mike? Where they're saying, oh, you're not making enough, so we're not going to send you anything. That's a bit shitty, but oh well. Yeah, I've played Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and Demon Souls, but Demon Souls was actually my favourite, but it was the PS3 exclusive one. If I had a PS4, I'd definitely get Bloodborne. I played Bloodborne around a friend's house, and I really enjoyed what I played of that there. I quite liked it. It was a lot faster. The gameplay in Bloodborne, but, you know, I don't have a PS4, I'm not going to buy one just to get Bloodborne. I'm alright, thank you. A bit ill, but, the stream, I'm afraid, is going to finish any minute now. I don't actually know. I mean, a lot of the time it depends what your gun shop has for sale, I guess. Right, I'll finish off around there. I definitely prefer Stalker to Metro. No, I wouldn't buy a PS4 just because there's a gas mask in the game. I have a mace as in a flanged mace, and I have the Morning Star. You can see the actual like pole from the Morning Star there, the handle, but not the actual head from that camera angle. So yeah, thanks everybody. And I have the flanged mace, but I don't have any maces in like pepper spray because you can't legally own that if that's what you're asking. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching everybody. Yeah, and hopefully, yeah, my stuff. I think my flu type stuff is coming to an end now, but like I said, it's one of those annoying things that's just lingering around and not quite going away. Alright, see ya.